Hello, everybody, and welcome to another thrilling episode of Poland Daily Travel. It's thrilling for us to be actually in the studio. Believe it or not, it is true, because it's with all those restrictions going on now, it's very unusual for us to even be in the studio. But because we both work here, we come here every day, because we are distancing, because the crew outside are wearing masks. All the crew working in the studio booth here, and because we are constantly washing up our hands with the disinfectant solution, and you name it, we are able to be with you on this rare occasion during the quarantine. We've been talking about, in the last episode, we were talking about what is travel, Nicholas.
We were, yes.
Nicholas Richardson with me here in the studio, and of course I'm Will Richardson. And I want to point out, no relation.
But I mean, and talking about travel and how you don't actually always have to go to exotic locations to travel. You will be familiar with the Spectator magazine, their annual prize for travel writing,
sure,
which is available to young journalists to write, and then the prize is you get an article published in the Spectator. In many cases, that has led to these people having a full-time career as writers, the Shiva and Paul Prize. But you know, they say in the rubric when you start that travel is about an idea, and you could find an interesting travel story as much in your own hometown as you could in flying off to the far corners of the world. And that's
the way you tell it.
It's the way you tell it. It's where it's this idea of challenging your mind and seeing something in a different way, which you can find in an exotic location, obviously. But you can probably visit parts of your own hometown and still sense that wonder of discovery, although seeing something in a slightly different light.
Well, yeah, I mean, you've said it. You often miss things that are right in front of your face in your old town. Like, I found myself looking for a shoe repair, and I hadn't realized there was one right across the street from my office, because I kept walking by it with something else in my mind. And it was just one sort of Geppetto, old fella, sitting there, with his glasses on the end of his nose and repairing shoes.
Exactly. I mean, if you take the trouble to walk, and of course most of us now are avoiding public transport for obvious reasons, but if you slightly walk and you vary your route, you might find things even in your own locality that you've never spotted before.
Of course, there are endless things, and think of all the people running those different establishments, and there's a story in each of those places. There's a story in your street.
Exactly.
There's a story in your small town. Winesburg, Ohio, the great sort of epoch-changing
really,
book.
Travel is all about, isn't it? It's all about having an open mind and having an open eye, and taking the time to notice what's around you.
Or that, and also creating something, perhaps a book, out of your imagination and never having been there. I wanted to mention this because there's a Polish writer called Alfred Szklarski from Wrocław, and he wrote a series of books. I'm hoping that I get this right. I believe it's from the early 60s through the beginning of the 70s. He wrote a continuous series of books. It may have been a bit earlier than that, but I think that was the general time. So don't everybody get upset when you watch this. I got it wrong. But the important thing is this Alfred Szklarski never traveled anywhere outside of Poland, and he rarely left the region of Wrocław, Silesia. And he wrote a series of books called The Adventures of Tomek, a little boy who goes around with this zookeeper guy, and sometimes with his father, or I think always with his father and the zookeeper guy, and they collect animals from all around the world and bring them back. And there were Adventures of Tomek in Africa, Adventures of Tomek in America, Adventures of Tomek in Australia, and so forth and so on. They're collecting animals and putting them in a zoo in Germany. That's the basic ideas. And everyone read these books as a child in Poland. Make a wonderful series of films, actually. Sort of young Indiana Jones type thing.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. But it's
but he never went anywhere.
No.
And these were the most popular travel novels.
Yeah,
for
because
kids.
he was travelling in his mind.
Yeah, which was your point
About
before.
the Karen Blixen from the film. I've read the book. I can't remember whether she says it in the book. Probably not. But I mean,
you mean the Meryl Streep character in the movie, Out of Africa?
Yes, but I mean, the idea is perfectly valid.
Yes, it is.
And she would tell stories, of course, and these would be her imagination of places she'd visited as well. So, because she was a great storyteller, not just the ones we've read, of course, but she was. And you think, yes, that actually is right. You know, you see, it's all about travel. It's all about training, using your mind to imagine, to see things, and to not be rushing from A to B, which is an agenda prepared for you.
That's tourism.
By a travel company or by a tourist guide. Or I've got to tick off these 5 sites and these 50 famous paintings in the Uffizi Gallery in Florence, for example, which is very nice to do that. But you can spend too much time running around trying to, and then you get back from your holiday exhausted, and you've not actually really derived anything you couldn't derive from looking at it on YouTube. Whereas if you'd sat down and just let the atmosphere embrace you, watch the world go by, have your coffee, sample some of the local cuisine, and just enjoy being there, then I think you get far more out of it. You go to Florence, for example, and you can really, if you sit in a cafe or a restaurant and you let it, you know, the atmosphere, you can almost imagine Cosimo de' Medici walking around the corner, or Lorenzo on his way to commission a great work of art or something, and really feel the place, listen to the church bells particularly, and look at the buildings and just sort of let your mind glide back in time. And then I think you really enjoy your trip, rather than think, I've got to go, there's a long queue, I've got to go and see David because I've got to go, etc.
No, you run through and you say, I got David, I got the Mona Lisa and the Louvre, for example, and you're running through and see
along with millions of
Venus
other people,
de Milo.
along with millions of other people who are doing exactly the same thing. So you become tired and frustrated, the queues are very long, and you've not really experience the joy of being in these places.
So we need to be better travelers.
We need to be better
We need to be
travelers.
more respectful. We need to realize that we're in a different place. We need to respect that different place. And not take too much of ourselves.
No, we need to just take time to let that place and its charm sort of
maybe lose ourselves in that for a while.
That's a good phrase. Lose yourself in Florence.
A kind of relaxation,
exactly,
isn't it?
And then you get the mental stimulation, but you also get the relaxation. You take yourself away from your daily concerns, your daily worries.
An excellent point. Thanks for watching Poland Daily Travel. And what is travel? You might ask yourself, what is travel? What are you trying to find when you visit places you've never been before, whether it's nearby or the other side of the world? What are you really looking for? It's a question worth asking, and particularly now during the time of quarantine, I guess we have time to ask ourselves some of these questions and to think about what is important and some of the motives behind doing things. What are our reasons for doing things?
Exactly. This is a good time to have a period of self-examination.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for watching Poland Daily Travel. I've been with Nicholas Richardson. I'm Will Richardson. See you next time. And in the meantime, be well, take care of yourselves, and we'll do the same.